Well, some of you out there may be wondering, how do I begin as a worship leader to construct or write my own worship songs? It's something that you can do, and it's something that God will anoint you to do as you continue to seek Him. Writing a song really is unique to every individual. Through the years, I've talked to songwriters, and everybody has their own different way on how they develop their material. I think you have to just be in tune with first how you hear melodies, how you perceive music, uh, uh, how you formulate in your mind this whole thing called music. For myself, it comes very uniquely, I would say, because usually I'm not trying. Usually it just comes out of a personal moment of worship. Sometimes just in like a seat of silence, if you will, when you're just not really trying, you're just allowing God to flow through you. And it's not necessarily a deep thing. It's not something that you have to sit down and try to channel things and all. It's not like that. It's something that you just have to really learn how to pause and just allow your heart just to do what it does. And I think if you become first in tune with yourself, in tune with your spirit man, you will then begin to hear the melodies of your heart, and you will begin to start to recognize those sounds that God is uniquely developing within you. And when you begin to mentally be able to identify those things, you can then now write them down and begin to construct the music from it. There is, what I want to say, a more structured and I would say intellectual or a studious way of writing, if you will. But there's also a way that you can do it that is really heartfelt. What I'm saying is, there are writers who are scholars at what they do. They've been trained. They've been educated to a degree where they can construct things. But when I'm speaking of as a worship leader, those melodies come from out of a unique place. That's something that a person can't really teach you. It's something that you have to uniquely begin to discern yourself, and it's something that you have to uniquely begin to identify in the world around you, because I believe music is always present. I believe there's a melody always present. It's just, are we in tune with it? And the melody ultimately, I would say, is the breath of God, the stillness of God, just making its own creative sound in the atmosphere, if you will. It always doesn't come with lyrics. Sometimes that comes later. But you have to be just still enough to hear that heartbeat, to hear that flow of energy, if you will. But if you're busy and you're occupied all the time and never still, those melodies will pass you by. Those moments will pass you by. You'll have them, but you won't even identify them because you're not still enough to really say, to really take it in. So, how do I begin to write my own worship music? Some of you may say, first you do it by being still, by becoming one who is in tune with him or herself. And once you can do that, then I think I began to identify through the wisdom of God how you develop and how you articulate music personally. And once you do that, I think it'll just come. I think if you're still enough to do so, you'll begin to. There will be times where they may be a little frustrating. You may be trying too hard at those moments. When the moments become frustrating, step back, allow it to marinate, allow it to settle, and then let it just flow naturally. It is possible, what I want you to know, and it may take more work for some than others, but it is possible, because with God all things are possible. And if He's called you to be a worship leader, He's ultimately called you to produce a sound in the earth realm that has never been heard before. So I want you to be encouraged as a worship leader, and know that God has your back, and that He is ultimately the one who will birth out of you all of those gifts, all of those assignments that He has placed in you even before the foundation of the world. So just be prayed up, just be in tune, and most of all, be a worshiper. Until we meet again, be blessed.